Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to talk about some of the latest news and notes regarding the New York Jets post-draft, including one hypothetical situation that is being talked about right now surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers that potentially could wind up with the Jets adding a solid depth piece. But let's talk about the first bit of news here. In my opinion, a bit of a no-brainer. It was Alijah Vera-Tucker's fifth-year option. There was like this weird kind of story surrounding, if Joe Douglas should accept Vera-Tucker's fifth year or decline it. I guess he, in his pre-draft press conference, he like stuttered and kind of wasn't all that committal on whether or not the Jets were going to accept it. He didn't want to commit to anything before the draft. That was just kind of my take on it, right? I couldn't really see or envision a situation where the Jets would come out and deny a fifth-year option for Alijah Vera-Tucker. Now, I love AVT. The dude is a beast. He's versatile. He can play multiple positions, although I don't want to see him at multiple positions. Pass protection, run blocking, left side, right side. Still young enough to get better. I love Alijah Vera-Tucker, but he has been hurt, right? He's not the perfect offensive lineman out there. He's had 2 season-ending injuries, one to his lower body, Achilles, the other to his upper body, torn tricep or torn triceps. I'm not sure if it was one or both, but in any case, they both ended the season. And I think both injuries came in Denver. So, hopefully we don't play them this season. But no, I mean, when you look at Alijah Vera-Tucker, I'm not going to, again, sit there and deny a fifth-year option on a first-round pick that, when healthy, has looked really, really good. And has been pretty unfortunate. This isn't really a Becton situation where there's weight concerns, there's size concerns, there's knee concerns, there's durability concerns. There's just many questions surrounding the player's long-term future. With AVT, it just kind of seems like 2 unfortunate situations that have taken place so far. Because if we think back to his rookie year, played the full season. He didn't really have injury concerns coming out of USC. So, of course, the goal is to stay healthy, but, in the event that he has another season-ending injury, I feel like, okay, now we're approaching the territory of, maybe there is something to look into here as far as him being like a injury-prone, injury-plagued player. Now, one thing that I felt like was pretty interesting was one of the undrafted free agents that the Jets brought in, wide receiver from Florida A&M, a Bethune-Cookman transfer, Marcus Riley, wide receiver special teams contributor, who was a super explosive for the Rattlers a year ago. I believe he averaged over 17 yards per reception. He signed, according to Aaron Wilson, he signed a 3-year contract worth $2.83 million with the New York Jets. I can't really remember, a contract like this coming out of the gate immediately as an undrafted free agent. So it kind of makes you think, again, if this is true here, that, man, the Jets, they obviously like this guy. And it's interesting because we already have Xavier Gipson on the roster. We drafted Malachi Corley in the 3rd round. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, both of those guys are pretty much locked in with roster spots. I think it's going to be really difficult to move Alan Lazard in his contract. So he's probably going to stay on the team, given the amount of dead money that the Jets owe this season. I believe it's upwards of $45+ million at this point in time, which is crazy. And then, of course, Jason Brownlee as well. So, how are the Jets viewing Marcus Riley here? Super, super interesting storyline to follow and guy to kind of track throughout training camp and preseason. And then last but not least, there was a thought from Davi Todd, who's a former radio host, I believe, with ESPN covering the Steelers. And he goes on to say that the two most likely quote-unquote losers for the Steelers roster post-draft are Nate Herbig and Cole Holcomb. With the addition of 3 offensive linemen and most notably McCormick in round 4, releasing Herbig post-June 1st would save $4 million for the team. Holcomb's injury was a real blow with the signing of Patrick Queen and drafting Payton Wilson. There may be an injury settlement release that could create another $4 million plus in cap space. It's a tough business. So, my mind instantly jumps to the New York Jets, right? This is Nate Herbig is a player that I really liked when he, was acquired by New York. I was a big fan of it at the time, coming in from Philadelphia as a reliable interior offensive lineman, backup type of depth piece. And when he had an opportunity to play, due in part because of AVT moving right guard over to left tackle. Herbig, had such a seamless transition at right guard. We didn't have much of a drop off there. And I was floored when the Jets did not bring him back. And granted, he did get a sizable, not some crazy contract, but he did get a bigger contract from Pittsburgh. And Herbig did spend some time at center a year ago for Pittsburgh. But man, if we're talking about re-adding Nate Herbig to the, back of this offensive line, to be an interior offensive lineman depth piece, sign me up for that every single day of the week. I would love that. Of course you can make the argument, well, is he the same player? He did perform well with the Jets under Mike LaFleur and kind of a different, maybe attack with the offensive line. Sure, right? Totally fair points. He doesn't really, he's not a Nathaniel Hackett guy or a Keith Carter guy. We don't know that to be a fact. But as far as what Joe Douglas knows, as far as, what I know is just from watching him play with the Jets, I would really, really like him as a backup option for New York. I think Conor McGovern being brought back is totally realistic. I think a lot of fans kind of just assume that that's going to be done because it just makes so much sense. And, we look at interior offensive line. It was a position that wasn't really addressed in the draft. I'm not pounding on the table saying we need to draft a backup guard, but at the same time, it would have been nice to, maybe select one in round 4, 5, 6, 7, on day 3 of the NFL draft, just to get another player in at that position. But, will the Jets bring in McGovern? Will they try to bring back Nate Herbig if he is released from the Pittsburgh Steelers as a late summer signing? We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.